Hi.
You
Hi.
okay?
Yes, I can hear you just fine.
No, it's all good. Listen, technology, Instagram, it's just too
It's so much. I've actually never gone live before, so I'm
really
like, how do you do this? And it's
well.
such like me to be like, oh, it needs to be updated.
Welcome to your first live.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, Instagram. There's just so much. It's always being upgrading and updated. And
Yeah,
it's a lot. So we are
yeah.
so grateful to have you here.
I'm grateful to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Well, first and foremost, how are you doing? How's everything going for you so far?
I'm good. Yeah, it's been a whirlwind. We are currently preparing to go to the Oscars, which is insane. I think like a lot of people, are like got so used to what it meant to be quarantining and safe and in a pandemic that like now the world is starting to open up and it's become a level of being safer, and it's so strange to me.
It's really strange because I think we've been locked down for a year. There were so many rules, so many regulations. I live in
Yeah.
LA on the East Coast, so I was in LA for most of the pandemic. So we had curfews and
Yes.
here in LA. But as you said, congratulations on the
Thank
Oscar.
you.
Amazing, girl.
Thank
You
you.
nominated for the short film portion for the Oscars. Like, how does that feel? Because you guys did this amazing movie, you filmed this amazing movie, and now you get the news with an amazing message.
Thank you.
Let's let everyone know that. But now we're Oscar nominated. So how does that feel for you?
It's amazing. It is, well, it was actually filmed in 5 days. It was like everything about it has been such a whirlwind. So it was filmed in 5 days. It was written in 5 days. It was like edited in a month. So everything has been like, I describe it almost like if someone like your higher power, God, whatever you trust in, was like put a string on you and just like took you, that's how it feels.
Yeah.
So
You
yeah,
said like the script was written in 5 days,
yeah.
filmed it, but filmed last summer during the pandemic. And then there's COVID. So what was that process like for you guys on set, going through the motions, editing, filming, while this is happening in real time? Because we have
Yeah.
protests going on. We have the murders that happened with Breonna and George. Literally, it's so like how does that feel for you? How are you feeling at that moment?
It was, I remember being on set multiple times and feeling like, does everyone feel like how crazy this is? Like, is it just me feeling like this is a magical moment? I like to explain it like, you know how Pink has a song called Glitter in the Air, and it's basically a poem about how when you throw something beautiful out in the air, and at first it's gorgeous, and you just see like, the sparkles and how amazing it looks, and then it's on the floor. Now it's a mess. You know what I mean? And so it just felt like a glitter in the air moment where I was looking around and taking in the moment as it was happening. Like you said, it was in the midst of everything. So there were COVID tests, there were masks, there was 6 feet distances, everything was heavily enforced. And we really felt the weight of that because we didn't have insurance on the film. So if any of the main characters got sick, it was a
Wow.
lost cause. And so it was the gravity that you felt for telling these important stories, and the gravity of really just wanting everyone on set to feel safe and to be safe. So it was that, and a lot of Q-tips up my nose.
Well, there's a lot of testing when you're on set, and then hand
Yeah.
sanitizing
Yeah.
and making sure. But like you said, if one of the main characters, because it's you and Joey, and we have the officer, like if someone gets sick,
Yeah.
guys, I know there was a timeline, and there was probably like, this is the date we want to be done. We want to be done in 5 days.
Yes. Yeah. And it was, a budget concern too, because it was
Yeah.
an independent film. It was made, Travon Free dreamed it up and was like, let's go, let's do it now. No one's working. And so it was just a beautiful, beautiful experience. And I remember the very first day that we were filming was actually the day that the verdict of Breonna Taylor's um, killers not being charged. And that was, so heartbreaking as a Black woman, especially.
Yeah.
And I remember everyone on social posts were just apologizing to her, and I felt really grateful to not only feel that apology for her, but also feel like I'm going to use what I feel like I'm good at to do something. You know what I mean? And I feel like if everyone does a little of what they're good at, then we just move.
Yeah. No, I was gonna ask you because you're talking about Breonna, and I look at the character of Perri, who you play, who's such an amazing support system partner. She's
Okay.
great support. She keeps it real. She's the partner, and then you have Breonna, partner, had to endure what he had to endure with everything going on. So for you playing someone like Perri, how was that moment? Like, what did you pull from that, from being the partner, being a Black woman? Because I believe even you said this in the interview, like Black women, we go through it. Black women go through this is something that we're facing every day. So when you guys are on set and you are in motion while everything is happening with Breonna, George, and Ahmad, how is that for you playing this character as Perri?
Oh man, Perri, I fell in love with Perri the first time I read her. And I fell in love with her because I saw myself so much in her, and I saw the strong women in my life in her. And unfortunately, that doesn't happen that often yet. And so when I was entrusted in filling her shoes, I felt so much responsibility, especially that third scene, which I won't spoil the movie, which comes out April 9th. But that third kind of moment really felt like that embodiment of an idea of what that moment felt like, what her last moments felt like. And I, even to this day, I get super protective over her and super protective over the Black woman's story too. That often gets overlooked when we talk about police brutality. And it's Sandra Bland. It's watching those horrific things. And I'm so grateful that we're having this culture movement around George Floyd. I'm so grateful. But it's also so hurtful to not see that happen with Breonna Taylor. It's so hurtful to say, like, sleeping in her bed.
Sleeping in her bed.
And
Sleep.
her partner, they tried to convict her partner and her ex-boyfriend. And it's so amazing to me that it's not something we can all agree on.
No,
you know?
that's why I love seeing the dynamic with Perri and Carter and seeing them
Yeah.
come together, because I do think that's something that, especially in our community, that we have to come together and hold each
Yeah.
other, because we see Brianna and then we have George and we have
Yeah.
Amanda and Sandra, which is
Yeah.
so you guys did such an amazing job with this film, but also you had a brand new book that came out.
Yes.
Beautiful poems,
Thank you.
which I love the poems. I love poetry, so I loved reading your poems. I
Oh,
got so I was like, oh my God, this is so great.
thank
For
you.
those who don't know what your book is called and what is it centered on and where did it come from, like the idea come.
So my book is actually called We Got a Lot to Be Mad About, and it was not titled that at first. I had actually written these poems during the time of, actually, I think the first poem was written when Ahmaud Arbery was killed. And it didn't start off as a book. It started off as tears. It started off as diary entries in my phone. And I write quite a bit that way. I write in my phone poetry. That's my diary, and I just kept posting them on Instagram. And my friend was kind of like, you need to publish this. And I was like, I don't know. And then it just kept flowing, right? So it's really a book centered about the civil unrest of 2020 and being in the midst of it, and being a Black woman who is coming of age almost, and really just looking at the world around me and taking it in and having to process it in real time, right? We don't have time to rest. We constantly have to process work, process being in the pandemic, process. And it was just an outlet, and then it just became a really strong story about what it means to really go through it and really be at the bottom and then come through and realize that, as Black women, we get labeled as angry quite a bit, oh,
Mm.
she's sassy, or she's angry, or she's this, that, or the other. And the truth is, we got a lot to be mad about.
Oh.
And yeah. And so it's an ode to Solange's song, and it was just a piece of a poem, and I gave it to my partner to read, and I was like, okay, pick from this list of titles, and I really was not going to pick We Got a Lot to Be Mad About, because I like to be happy and forgiveness and love. And he was like, there is no truer title to this
The
poetry
title.
book. Yeah,
Such a, because I felt we do
right.
mad about, and like you're right, because Black women were labeled angry,
Mhm.
or sometimes the strong Black women.
Right.
It's like, we need time to process. But I'm
Yes.
pissed. So when
Yes.
I see your book and the beautiful poems, I'm like, yes, Zaria, this is exactly how I feel. So thank
Yeah.
you for that.
Oh,
That
thank you. That feels so good to hear you say. And yeah, it is a lot to process, and I yeah, it feels really good to have that connection with you, and that you related to it, and I like to say that, um you know they say anger destroys things. And I say, well, if anger is destructive, then let it lead you to destroy the things worth its destruction. And part of that is the systemic institutional racism that we're faced with. So it's better to be angry and moved than to be at peace and to be still in these moments.
amen. Amen.
I was going to bring a word to you. I was going to bring a word.
You are super busy because you have this brand new Oscar nominated film that the world will get to see, as you said, April 9th. But then you have another Netflix show coming out
Yes.
starring Jamie Foxx and yourself, and it's called Dad Stop Embarrassing Me.
Yes.
So what do you
Yeah.
think about that, and when does that come out? When do we get to see you on that?
On April 14th, Dad Stop Embarrassing comes out. Dad Stop Embarrassing Me comes out on Netflix. And I play Courtney. She is a ball of fun. She is nothing like Perri except for me. That's the only likeness they really share. And she's just a ball of fun. I don't want to spoil too much about her, but she has a crush on Jamie, and she makes it very clear in the first
A
episode.
woman who knows what she wants.
Yes, she knows what she wants. So I guess they have more in common. Yeah, so she's a lot of fun. Jamie is amazing. He actually knew my mom, which is like a crazy story. He's really great friends with my uncle, Bentley Kyle Evans, who I've always looked up to. He created the Jamie Foxx show, and all of these things. He had no idea I was auditioning for the show. It was this great, amazing coincidence where he was like, they were looking through tapes, and he's like, and like didn't say anything, and then ended up telling Jamie after he picked me, because he didn't want to like skew the results.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I know Jamie sees it now, because I do look so much like my mother. And so yeah, it was a ton of fun. Jamie is amazing on set. He was like saying I was a superstar, which really helped my ego. And yeah, we just had so much fun. It felt like, what you think In Living Color felt like back in the day, when everyone's making jokes on set and it's just so loose. Jamie's singing every now and again. He'll just break out of the song. So
I
it's really
love
fun.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. Can't wait to see it. I seen the trailer and I was like, oh, this looks like this is going to be a great show. It looks
Yeah.
like a cast. I see tons of people of color, people that look like us.
Yes.
That was super amazing. Zaria, you are an actress, a writer, a poet, an activist. When do you sleep?
I'm actually a really good sleeper. 9 o'clock every night, I'm like, I
Goals.
find time.
I'm like, goals. When do you sleep? But Zaria, thank you so much for kicking
Thanks
it
for
with me.
having me.
Congratulations on the new film, the new show, the Oscar nomination. Okay, the book. I would love to have you come back on and kick it with us, like
Yes.
after air. So because we don't want to give spoilers away on any
Yeah.
would love to have you come back after Two Distant Strangers premiere and Dad Stop Embarrassing Me.
Yes.
But thank you so much. And for those who are on here, please, when you get a chance, please read Zaria's book. It's just filled with beautiful poetry and beautiful poems. I was reading some yesterday and I read some this morning and I got a little emotional. So
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. It really, you don't know how much that means to me. Oh,
Where is the buzz you said was mine?
oh,